My name is Dan Dorval, and I'm President and CEO of Dorval Chorne Financial Advisors. I am an independent certified financial planner and author of my book, Financial Success for the Rest of Us, Reality-Based Financial Planning for Mainstream America.
Hi, my name is Leah Woodley. I'm an associate financial advisor with Dorval Chorne Financial Advisors. Our conversations discuss what it means to do quality of life planning in all areas of your life.
So Dan, you started Dorval Chorne over 25 years ago. Let me know how you got started.
Well, like you, Leah, I'm a career changer. I used to be a professional engineer. I was an environmental engineer. That's what all of my education was. And I realized at one point I just didn't have the passion for what I was doing. And so I made a very difficult decision to leave engineering, leave behind my salary, my benefits, and become a financial advisor. And when I did that, a big important aspect of this was to become completely independent because I interviewed with some firms. They were very focused on selling proprietary products. It was approaching your friends, family. It was really a sales type of concept. And as an engineer, that's not something that I felt like I was very good at. So without a natural market, I had to start from scratch with no clients, no income, and it was a tough start. So one of the first people that I ever helped was an engineering contact that I had, and he was married to a nurse, and I helped them work through a financial plan. And that nurse was just not really familiar with what their financial planning was all about. She earned good money, but she didn't understand her benefits. She didn't really understand what was going on. And so I very fortunately ended up dealing with one of our local health systems, North Memorial Hospital. I talked to their benefits director and I said, would you like to have an independent certified financial planner here to help some of these people? And he said, would you be willing to help our nurses? And I thought, well, yeah, I mean, I have no clients. I need to help somebody. And so
Right.
I thought, well, absolutely. So that relationship started very slowly, but over time it grew and it built. And he started sending me more and more people. And I started to get better at financial planning advice and became an expert in helping these nurses deal with their union benefits.
Wow, that is so interesting. I bet that had to be a little bit intimidating to go out on your own. How did you sort of develop your own philosophy when it came to financial planning while you were helping these nurses?
Yeah, it's an interesting evolution because when I first started, all of my background, all of my training was associated with like quantifying things. So doing calculations, spreadsheets, using technology tools. And over time, what I realized is most of these nurses were not numbers types of people. And I found very quickly that if I talked to them about the numbers aspect and calculations and kind of got into jargon, they didn't like that. So over time, I started to think more in terms of this idea of quality of life, what actually mattered to them, what gave them meaning and purpose. And then the idea was how to align their resources as efficiently and effectively as we could to help improve quality of life. And what happened there is helping these nurses. I dealt with a lot of different types of people. We help people who are in their 20s, 30s, 40s, retiring in their 60s, and everybody in between. So when we do that, everybody's idea of quality of life, their primary motivations and values and goals are very different. And that shifts and evolves as you go through a life cycle. So that idea of planning really changed a lot over my career.
I believe it. So, how do you think that idea of quality of life differs from how other financial planners are doing things?
Well, when I first got into business, like I said, most of my training was about how to sell stuff. And whether
Yeah.
that was investments, whether that was insurance, the financial planning softwares that were created were really designed to create like a need for these people. And then the idea was the advisor fills that need with some sort of a product.
Yeah.
And that didn't work very well for me because as an engineer, I was looking for the solution of essentially using tools to help accomplish goals and not so much just how do you sell stuff.
Right.
So as things shifted and evolved, I realized that maybe like their 401k custodian was trying to sell them investments, and maybe their insurance agent was trying to sell them insurance, but there were very few people thinking in terms of how do you put together all these different puzzle pieces to create the picture of what these people were trying to accomplish. And that was also an evolution over time. So in 2003, I wrote a book called Financial Success for the Rest of Us. And that book was based on my experiences with the nurses that we helped. And then I published that in 2004. So now that's over, it's 20 years old now, but that
Wow.
really helped me articulate the idea of like, how do you put all of these different things together?
That's awesome. That is something that I think is a challenge for the general public because they are sold products and they're told people are fiduciaries who are really just salespeople. And so to be able to have the opportunity to get advice from somebody who looks at the complete picture, the complete puzzle, and aligns their resources with their quality of life, I think that's extremely valuable for nurses. So anything else you want to share about how we do things?
Well, one of the most creative and unique things we ever did is based on that original hospital setting, we were able to set up a group advisory agreement that covered literally all of their employees. It was one of their most appreciated benefits, and their benefits director came to me and said, Dan, how do we do this so that we can have you available to help everyone here? And at the time, that's just not something that advisors ever did. And even now, they don't really do that, at least not an independent financial planner. So we ended up creating that from scratch. And over time, that has grown. And now our group advisory agreements cover over 20,000 different people for our small firm. And we've become experts in all of the benefits of those areas. So we're extremely efficient in the fact that we don't market, we don't cold call, we don't advertise. We just have people that we understand and that have experience with coming to us all day, every day, saying, how do I deal with this? How do I deal with this? And, as far as that's how you came to us, and I thought I'd give you at least an opportunity to describe a little bit as a career changer yourself, like what brought you from engineering over to financial planning?
For me, I wanted to be able to help people. I didn't get that gratification out of engineering. I was kind of in a world where, you're just given a task, you may see the end product down the line. There's no immediate gratification from being able to work with people and help people. You're sitting at a desk doing calculations all day. Sometimes I got to go to the field, but it just wasn't, I didn't feel fulfilled in what I was doing. And I've always been interested in finances. So I decided to work towards getting my CFP. I'm almost done with that. But I just wanted to be able to do something where I was of service. I was able to immediately help people and do it in a way that I was interested in, which was with personal finance and financial planning.
Well, it's a big transition. I mean, leaving everything behind that you went to school for,
Yeah.
everything that you kind of know and understand. So, how scary was it to make that type of a transition?
It was extremely scary. I'm definitely a person who is a little risk averse. I don't necessarily like change, but I also had this dream that never left me. So it was something that I just had to do. I had to let go of my fear and just make the leap. And I'm very, very glad that I did it.
I think one of the best things from financial planning and the way we do business at Dorval Chorne is it gives you flexibility. I mean, you have young kids, and when
Yes.
my kids were young, my kids are grown up now, but when my kids were young, it gave me the flexibility and options to be able to go to their events, balance out life between this fulfilling aspect of work and meaning and purpose there, but also being able, from a quality of life standpoint, to spend that time when your kids are young and growing up, because we never get that time back.
That's absolutely true. You're hitting the nail on the head right there. I think that we really embody our company embodies what it means to have quality of life and what it means to do quality of life planning. It's not just about finances. It impacts your family, it impacts your health. I know some people on our team are really health conscious, so they have the opportunity to focus on their health and things like that. So I think that is a good representation of what we do, what we stand for, what we believe in. And I think that translate to how we serve our clients as well.
Well, and as we have more of these conversations, that idea of quality of life planning, it's interesting for me because over time, that whole concept starts to get into all of our discussions. So when clients come to us, a lot of times they're facing hardship in life, whether that's death, disability, divorce, health challenges, family challenges, all these different things. And we have these really intimate discussions with people about what that actually means to them. It's a lot more than talking about their investments or insurance or all of these different tools. And I think that really sets apart this concept of quality of life planning and why we felt it was important enough to have this video series and start to have these conversations together.
I agree. Well, thank you so much for this time. I'm glad we have the opportunity to share what quality of life is and what quality of life planning is. And I encourage you to stay tuned for our next video. We'll be talking more and more about quality of life planning and how you can change your life through quality of life planning.